Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and welcome back to the Knife Shark channel. I'm your host, Omar, and we are going to be taking a look at another custom piece by another custom knife maker from South Africa. This gentleman has been around for quite a few years now, and I think he's pretty much getting to the point where his work is becoming more and more recognized, and that's pretty much what happens with a lot of these custom knife makers. They start out learning their craft, doing what they do, and then eventually what happens is they kick into a design that everybody loves, and then that becomes their signature knife, and then it moves on from there. Custom knife makers pretty much live their career that way, where they're looking to make the knife that's going to make their name. And after a while, you will begin to see that you'll be able to notice who made what knife by the design, which is kind of interesting, and that's one of the fun things that happens to you when you get into customs. Someone will probably put a custom down on a table, and you'll go, "Oh, I know who made that," and you might even cover up the name on the knife so you can't tell. So this piece that I'm going to present to you today is quite different. It's quite different in feel, quite different in color. I've never seen a knife that looks anything quite like this. And the knife maker that I'm talking about is Kosie Steenkamp. And this is the piece, and it's got quite a long name. It's called Majesty with Thunderstorm Kevlar and Ivory G10, and it runs on IKBS. The stats for this knife: the blade length is 3.3 inches, the cutting length is 3.2, the total length of the knife is 8 inches, the blade height is 1.08 inches, blade thickness near the bolster, which is right about here, is 0.13, and then also at midpoint right about here, it is also the same 0.3. The blade thickness near the tip is 0.06. And the item weighs approximately 4.6 ounces. The blade is a satin finish bowler N690, stainless steel, hardened to 59 HRC. The bolster that you're looking at here is ivory micarta, which is kind of an exotic material, I think. But it's ivory micarta. The handle itself is made of thunderstorm kevlar. Kevlar. Now, what's interesting about this knife is that these little specks that you see in the handle, these are actually little pieces of wiring embedded in the thunderstorm kevlar, and that just gives it that nice shiny sheen. The whole knife looks like it was made probably like in 1977 or something. It just kind of reminds me of that, maybe like some kind of old, kind of like those homes that you used to go. A lot of you millennials probably don't know or remember, but it kind of reminds me of a lot of those homes that I used to go into when I was a kid. Reminds me of the 1970s. Basically, I don't know why, but it just does. The coloring kind of looks cheesy, but in a good way. I don't know how to explain that. So the knife is made by Kosie Steenkamp, who has a brother who's a little bit more popular than he is. His name is Willem Steenkamp. I do not have any knives by his brother, but I probably will get at least one from him. I got this piece mostly because of the way it looked. I've never, these nice, shiny, golden colored liners really got to me. And if you look inside the liners, there's this like little sort of weird design you can see inside. Even just looking inside the liners, the back spacer itself is made of micarta as well. As you can see, the entire knife is made by hand. It is not one of a kind, but the entire knife is made by hand. When we say one of a kind, we mean more than likely you will never see another knife like this. There is a chance that you may see this piece once again. Maybe in a different variation. Maybe it'll be red. Maybe it'll be blue. Who knows? But the coloring may be different. They may be using different materials other than the ivory white micarta that you see here. And that's really what's so fun about owning custom knives, is that there's a good chance that no one will have the same exact knife. There'll be something different about it. Even the pocket clip might be different. Speaking of which, I mean, the pocket clip is really, really very pretty. Very, very nice and gold colored. It is all titanium pocket clip. It's got a really nice spring to it. And the action on this knife is IKBS. Very, very popular with custom knives. As you can see, the knife closes. It practically does fall shut with a little force. Really very smooth. So why don't we go ahead and get into these size comparisons for this knife. I've been bringing out a lot of knives that you guys are not familiar with, so I thought I'd bring out some that you are quite familiar with, even though you may not own some of these knives, but you are familiar with them and you've seen them on YouTube and on blade forums. So here's one of the more common knives. This is the Chris Reeve Kosie, my Chris Reeve Kosie, right there. Righty. The Chris Reeve Sabenza 21, which is another well-known knife right there. Give you a little size comparison. Right? So let's go ahead and move on to something that's even more mainstream in the knife world. How about the Ken Onion Leek? There you go. And finally, for even more commonality, how about his cousin, the Kershaw Blur? So there you have it. Size comparison. So I finally got a couple knives you guys are familiar with. Some of you guys might even own both of these, so I feel a little bit better. I don't feel so stupid like I did in the last video. So as I said before, custom knives are a completely different feel from production knives. Just holding a custom knife, any custom knife, you get the feeling that extra special attention was paid to the piece simply because the only one guy is making it, as opposed to, say, a production piece where someone pretty much, maybe the company, draws out a design and then they approve the design, and then the knife is pumped out in batches on their factory machines, and they, basically they box it, they ship it, and you buy it, and that's it. That does not mean that knives of this quality, knives like this, are not great knives. They are, but they are what they are. What you're getting on the knife may be very limited. Anything that's limited, when I mean limited maybe as in the steel, maybe as in the options that you're being offered on the piece for, say for example, like the materials that the knife is made from are limited, because, for cost, and it makes sense. That's what you do. When you make a production knife, you're trying to figure out, how can I make the best quality knife under the cost productions that we are given. And so that's how you wind up with a limited, that's pretty much how you wind up with the knife that you get and the limitations that knife offers. With a custom knife, however, you're getting the personality of the knife maker all in the knife. You're getting the special materials that he uses on a daily basis, or maybe he's trying something new and exotic. He's put that onto the knife, and now you own it. So custom knives are a completely different feeling whatsoever. Even the steel that you get on the knife may not be something that you're familiar with. In this case, we're talking about N690. I don't see that very often on a Spyderco or Kershaw or even a zero tolerance knife. I think pretty much, I believe Spyderco's released a couple of knives in that steel. But again, you're pretty much getting the personality of the person that made the knife. And there's also that touch of elegance just about in every piece that you get. I got to be honest with you guys, the action on this knife is unreal. Even though it is IKBS, the action is still superbly fantastic. The feel of this knife, the materials it made, I mean, yes, it's very, very smooth in your hand. Doesn't give you a very good grippy texture. However, still a very solid offering, no matter what. I mean, I have never seen white micarta like that on a knife, and just the way he put the entire knife together with the colors and everything. And of course, once again, if you take a look at that handle, like I said, those little golden sparkles you see in there, those are like wiring that was put into the knife. And it is just spectacular, absolutely spectacular. Really fantastic piece. This is a flipper knife. It's more of a push-button flipper than a swiping. Basically, you just push, and the thing will pop right open. Like I said, the action, I mean, you could do this all day on this piece. Just pressing and popping it open like that. It does have a really nice edge on it already. So that's definitely a plus. So there you have it, the Kosie Steenkamp Majesty with Thunderstorm Kevlar and Ivory G10 on IKBS with N690 Bowler steel. This is going to be my last video for at least a couple of weeks. I'm still waiting on getting my my other custom knives back. I'm getting them, and a couple of production knives. I'm getting them blinged up, and I'm going to be doing a special video on those knives. On my good friend Troy, who is currently working on the knives. I want to show off his work. Just so you guys can see what other options are out there. I mean, if you have a production folder and you're kind of tired of the boring look that it gives you, you may want to take it to Troy and have him fix you right up. He's got made design concepts. Like I said, the color spectrum is quite limited, but there's certainly going to be something that he has to offer that you're going to want. So it's not that bad. So be on the lookout for that video, because I'm really excited to get my knives back. I really can't wait. I just wanted to show you my last custom piece that I have to show you. Once again, this is Kosie Steenkamp Knives, Majesty with Thunderstorm Kevlar and Ivory G10 running on IKBS ball bearing system. So there you have it. This is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off, hoping you will find this gorgeous, beautiful piece in your collection. Maybe it might even wind up being your first custom. Who knows? It is a spectacular feeling when you actually jump the gun and actually get yourself a custom piece. Hopefully you'll be very, very happy with it. I know I was when I first bought my first one. These knives are just one of a kind. They are rare, and they are just fantastic to own. So this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off. Once again, hoping you'll find this wonderful piece of sharp art in your collection. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.